All right, do you eat pizza with a fork or with your hand? That's a debate. Look at how golden brown that is on the bottom. Ooh, lose my veggies. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making arugula pesto pizza. This is a little bit of a 3-in-1. We're going to make arugula pesto, we're going to make almond ricotta, and then put it all together in a pizza. Let's get started. Hello. All right, the base for this pizza is my crescent roll dough. So I've already mixed up a batch of that and rolled it out here to about the size of the cookie sheet I'm going to be using. First thing I need to do is preheat my oven to 500, yes, 500, and I'm going to put my stone in the oven to preheat along with it. All right, now it's time to make the arugula pesto. I am a huge fan of the pesto basil flavor. We grow basil in our garden, so I have about a cup here of fresh basil, probably about the size of one of those clam shells that you could get at the grocery store. And along with the basil, I'm going to add in a mixture of arugula and spinach. And I need about 2 cups. That's about 2 healthy handfuls. Yes, my food processor is full. Along with that, I want 2 cloves of garlic. I also grow garlic in my garden. All of the garlic in there. Already starting to smell yummy. And about 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds. Put the lid on. I also need about 1/3 cup of olive oil, but I'm going to drizzle that in as it processes. I'm gonna measure it out here, about 1/3 cup. Turn on my food processor. Yes, I remembered to plug it in.
You're not gonna blame me this
time? No, it was me. Turn that on. Woo! And as it whirs, I'm gonna add olive oil. I spilled that everywhere. Beautiful. Oh, yummy.
This is one of those things you need smell-o-vision.
Yes. Grab my spatula just to kind of scooch it all around. All right, I don't want it completely pureed so that it's like liquid. I do want those chunks of my greens left in there, but it's all about the same consistency in there. It smells so yummy. I'm hungry already. All right, move this out of the way. All right, I'm gonna switch over to my high-speed blender to make some almond ricotta. All right, now we're ready to make some almond ricotta. I have a little cheater for my almond ricotta. I use almond flour as opposed to whole almonds. The whole almonds you would need to soak overnight first, make them soft enough for the blender. So I thought, let's just skip that step and use already squished up almonds. I'm putting 1 3/4 cup of almond flour into my high-speed blender. The other benefit to using almond flour is that if you do not have a high-speed blender, a regular blender would blend it up enough to make this recipe work. If you can't have almonds, cashews would work. You would need to soak those. Just get the raw, unroasted, unsalted cashews and soak them in water, and then they'll blend up for you. A quick tip on that would be to use boiling water, and then you would only need to let them soak about 2 hours and they would work. Got my 1 3/4 cup almond flour in my blender. To that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of onion powder. As I spill it all over my counter. A teaspoon of garlic powder. And about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Adjust the salt to taste, more or less, depending on your needs. I like this almond cheese mixture. It's a great foundation for several things. I use it like in this pizza or my lasagna, manicotti. I also like to use this as a base and add additional herbs and spices and use it as a spread on crackers. It's really yummy as like a cream cheese. All right. That was my dry ingredients. Now some liquid. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. You could use olive oil here if you prefer. I like the avocado oil because it has less of a flavor to me than the olive oil does. I'm also going to add some white balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons of that. If you can't find white balsamic vinegar, you could use apple cider vinegar. It does have a stronger flavor than the white balsamic to me. And I also need about a teaspoon of white vinegar. You can measure it or just use the cap. That's about a teaspoon. Last to go into my blender here is 2/3 cup water. And lid on. Oop. It likes to jump, so I'm gonna cover it. Always takes longer than I think it should. All right. Smells good. Just checking to make sure there's no almond flour down here at the bottom that didn't get mixed in. I want it, because I'm using it as ricotta, I want it to be a little bit of texture of the almond still in there. I don't want it completely smooth. When I make it for a cheese spread, I do blend it longer so that it's a little smoother. I'm gonna put this in a bowl and add some herbs to it. Gotta get out all my yummy goodness down here. I am making an herb ricotta for my pizza, so to my avocado ricotta, I'm adding about a tablespoon of fresh parsley and a tablespoon of fresh basil already chopped up. I'm adding this in a bowl and not into the blender because 2 reasons. I want a little bit of texture in my ricotta, and 2, if I put this in the blender, it would turn into green ricotta, and I want the color, and it would just be a whole green puree, and I want contrast. There we go, that's the word I was thinking of, contrast. I want the contrast. Okay, and I'm also going to add about a half teaspoon of honey. No reason other than it's yummy. All right, now I am ready to assemble my pizza. All right, so like I said, this is a crust made out of the crescent roll dough. If you haven't watched that episode, go ahead and take a peek at that so you can get the crust ready to go. I used about half of a batch here, rolled it out to the size of my baking stone. I'm going to use just a little bit of olive oil and brush over the crust first. So I'm preheating my stone in the oven so that when I add my crust to it, the stone is already hot and it starts cooking immediately to give it that nice golden browned and kind of crispy texture we're used to in a pizza. This olive oil will help do the same thing on the top. I'd say I'm probably using about a tablespoon of olive oil here. Just brushing it over the whole surface. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm gonna add my pesto. Just gonna kind of pour it in the middle and then spread it out, leaving a little bit of a edge for the crust. Yum. Gonna try to make it even so that nobody gets a greedy piece. And then next I'm going to add some non-dairy mozzarella. And now my ricotta. Just going to use my tablespoon again here just to kind of keep it in even. You could definitely use an already prepared ricotta. Kite Hill has a great one if you can find it. That is a problem for me. I can't always find things, so I need to figure out how to make it myself. I'm just gonna kind of spread this around. See, I didn't use the whole batch, which means I get to use it for crackers later. Just make sure all of my pieces have some yummy ricotta on them. All right, now it's ready for the oven, but my oven is not quite hot yet. So I'll clean this up while the oven preheats.
Or you could do your...
What? Oh, don't forget to subscribe and click notifications so you get notified of all of our episodes. Okay, so my pizza is assembled. I'm gonna get my preheated stone out of the oven. It's very smoky, very, very hot. Another reason for parchment paper, I'm just gonna slide my pizza right onto my preheated stone and right back into the oven it goes. All right, 500 degrees, 10 to 15 minutes until it's golden brown around the edges. See you in a few. All right, it's been 10 minutes. Let's check and see how golden brown it is.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Look at that edges. All right, very, very hot. You could slice it and eat it now, or to make it a little prettier and more nutritious, we could add some arugula on top, and maybe it's a salad, maybe it's a pizza, you decide. I'm just going to move my parchment paper back over to my cutting board here, very carefully because it's very, very hot. Maybe if I can get a hold of it, I will. Just because we like our vegetables and a little added nutrition, and because it makes it look beautiful and a little more impressive, I'm going to add some more fresh spinach and arugula on top. Look how gorgeous that is. Ready for me to cut it and taste it?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. I'll make sure I get some of my veggies here. Scooch them over onto my piece. All right, do you eat pizza with a fork or with your hand? That's a debate. Look at how golden brown that is on the bottom. Ooh, lose my veggies. There you have it, arugula pesto pizza. Gluten-free crust, pesto with no dairy and all the flavor, almond ricotta. extra veggies. So good. Who needs the gluten? See you next time. Goodbye.